All right, so let's talk Kansas State at TCU. This TCU team has been impressive, but I got into Kansas State earlier in this season, right around when they played Duke. So it's two teams I respect. -2.5 for TCU, and the total is 62. How do you see this one playing out, Nick?
Yeah, this is a big game, a lot to go over here. So I got a few notes that I'm going to have to look at so I don't miss anything here. But yeah, I mean, K-State, as you said, both these teams are really good. K-State finished 9-3. It averages 33.4 points per game. That ranks 34th. And then you have TCU. It's 12-0. It averages 41.3 points per game. When you're looking at where the money is so far in this game, not surprisingly, TCU has the majority of that, almost close to 70% the last I looked at it. So that would, if you do like K-State, and maybe you were going to suggest this because you always like to point these types of things out. If you do like K-State, you might want to wait a little bit because this line could definitely go to 3, obviously. But yeah, both have also done really well against the spread for bettors this season. K-State is 8-3-1 against the spread. TCU is 9-2-1 against the spread. Last time out, TCU had absolutely destroyed Iowa State 62-14, and then Kansas State rolled to a 47-27 win over Kansas as an 11.5 point favorite. So both teams come in with lots of momentum. Now these teams did meet in week 8. And the Horned Frogs, they won that game by a score of 38-28 as 3.5 point favorites. And the total, it went well over the number of 54.5 in that one. So here we are. TCU is now favored by 2.5 in the Big 12 championship. And so we have to look at K-State here, I think, and say, how can it cover or win or cover this game with less points than it was getting in the first matchup? No. But if you remember back to that Week 8 game, this is interesting. K-State actually held a 28-17 lead going into halftime, and then Max Duggan and TCU, they scored 24 answered points in the second half, and that's because their starting quarterback, got hurt. But I mean, obviously the Wildcats aren't going to roll over here. Quarterback Will Howard, he's been great in relief of Adrian Martinez. But the real threat for the Wildcats, of course, on offense is the run game. It's Deuce Vaughn. He averages 5.3 yards per carry. And there is a concern for TCU and for Duggan. And that's the health of future NFL wide receiver Quentin Johnson. He has an ankle injury, and he's definitely crucial for this offense to be running properly for TCU. But yeah, looking at the bigger picture, if TCU loses here, obviously it's not going to be in the college football championship. But if it can beat K-State in the Big 12 championship game, then it's going to have a matchup with either Georgia or Michigan. As I said off the top, a lot to take in here. But for me, I'm going to stay away from the side here. I just think that this is going to be a battle again here in the rematch, Ali, but more of a lower scoring one. Craig was talking about how each of those teams needed to establish the run, and I believe that's going to be the case again here in this Big 12 championship game. The first matchup went over, but I'm going under in this one.
It opened at 61. I have like 61.5 out there. Now we've got 62. So that number is actually moving towards an over, but the cash is on the under. And typically when the number's moving over, but the cash is on the under, I like to be on the under because I follow the money. That's kind of the way that I play it. So 62 is an even better number than 61 if we want to take it under. And that's how we're going to play this with the insiders room. Everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications. We're on every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern with all the football picks that you can handle. All right.